We've been victim to a lot of cruelty and humiliation during our time on this planet. As such, we've always tried to show kindness and understanding. Currently, I've been making the effort to answer people when they reach out, particularly online. This kind of started when someone would post something like, oh my god, this just happened, I don't know what to do, or, something to that effect. And maybe this person has a couple hundred friends. Obviously not all of them they know in real life, but there's got to be a few. So upon seeing their replies, and this is someone just begging for help, whether it be health or relationship abuse or something, but either way, they're sitting there asking for help, and all I see in the replies are, "That sucks," or "I'm sorry," or "I wish I could help you," or just, stupid little things like that. And it just really pissed me off to see that, there's someone there possibly suffering, and everybody's just like, "Oh, I'm sorry, that sucks, too bad," and it just pissed me off to no end. So I kind of made it my mission that whenever I see that, to reach back and offer help. Obviously, you've got to be smart about these things. I know the difference between somebody that's begging and someone that's really hurting, or someone that's trying to start a hate campaign against whatever boyfriend or girlfriend dicked them over, and I don't have that many friends online. I don't have any friends in general, but there are acquaintances that I have that I have a connection to online, and every once in a while, same situation, somebody will post something, and a lot of times these are people that are in a community or a subculture with tons and tons of other people that they see every week, that they're very familiar with and friendly with. And in particular was this girl, and she posts something about being in a massive panic attack, not able to keep anything down, not sleeping, whatever, things like that, afraid for her life, and everybody's just like, "Oh, that sucks. Have some tea. Wish I could be there." And again, I just got really pissed off. So I private messaged her. I did some research on what she was going through, and gave her some advice and tools to help her out, and some numbers to call if she really needed help. And of course I offered, myself too. If there's anything you need, don't hesitate to call me anytime, day or night. I'll be there to help you. And I've done this several times, and maybe twice somebody's actually come to me and I've, helped them because they asked. On the flip side of this, I've had a few discussions with people where they'll be in mid-conversation about whatever internet drama that they seem to be going through, or some kind of crap like that. And so I'll mention to them my upset with how this whole internet friendship thing just goes, and people are just so dismissive of other people's pain. And so I'll communicate to this my disdain to them. Tell them, there's somebody suffering and asking for help, and all anybody can do is just say, "I'm sorry, that sucks." So while I'm telling this story, they always have to interject and go, "Oh, well, I've done this and I've done that for people and blah 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 and everything else." And it's like, well, I'm sorry if I'm making you feel guilty or whatever, but you don't have to confess to things that you have no proof of. Really, it's just like automatically people get defensive and have to tell me of all the good they've done. And I'm sorry, you know what? Get off your butt and prove it. Don't sit there and tell me about all the times you helped somebody or lended a hand. That doesn't mean anything to me. I need to see it. And it even doesn't have to be with interpersonal relationships or people or anything like that. If you see somebody suffering or hurting or just struggling, lend them a hand. Offer assistance. It's not that hard, and you'll feel a lot better after you do so. Example, I was at Home Depot a couple weeks ago in the garden section, and there's maybe a dozen or two people walking around, shopping, what have you. I'm in the area where they have the big giant bags of soil, and looking at plants. Obviously, what else am I going to look at? There's this older couple. I highly doubt either one of them was much lower than the age of 80. They're both very elderly. And they're pushing a shopping cart. Shopping cart is probably there more to help them stay standing than anything else. And the old man is trying to maneuver a 15-pound bag of soil into his cart, and he's really struggling. This is a reasonably big bag. It's not that heavy, but obviously it was to him. He almost drops it a couple times. He almost falls a couple times. His wife is sitting there trying to help him. She's almost falling, and there's at least 10 or 11 people just standing around with their thumbs up their ass, watching this man struggle with a bag of dirt. And they're not doing anything. They're just walking around him, going on their merry way. And I just had enough. I was completely dumbfounded. And, I immediately went up there and I gave him some help. Put 3 bags into his car, asked him if he needed help getting them into his car. The whole 9 yards. And so the old lady was a bit more grateful than the old man. And she tells me, thank you so much, or a godsend, what have you. I'm going to tell your manager to give you a raise. And I was like, I don't work here. And she looked surprised. Like, really surprised. She's like, oh my God, this stranger just touched our things. And it's like, it's okay. I saw your husband struggling and nobody was helping him. And, she kind of said, well, thank you, you're a nice young man, or something to that effect. Really, I don't do this to be thanked or to have people give me, heartfelt gratitude or anything like that. Truthfully, I do it more for myself. I have a deathly low self-esteem, and doing things like this, gives me that boost, makes me feel a little bit better about myself, because I'm helping someone else. I'm not just helping myself. It's really not that hard to just show a little bit of kindness to people. Help them out when they're struggling. Offer a hand, an ear, a shoulder when they're in pain. I'd really like to see more of this from other people. No doubt, the one or two of you who listen to this are gonna search your brains for all the times you helped somebody, and that's completely justified, and you don't have to do it much anymore because you've already done it, and that's total bullshit. You don't just do it once and stop. You do it as often as possible, and when you see the need for it. It's not one of those things where, oh, I gave it the office, or I just did it here, or whatever. No. No, that's no excuse. You keep it up. You keep doing it. You're no more important than anyone else. I could give other examples of this. Maybe I will someday. But in general, try to show a little bit of kindness. At least smile. Look people in the eye when you pass them. Don't bury your head in a damn phone. It's a goddamn electronic window. It's not a real person. I don't know how many times I've seen people walking past someone hurting or in an emergency, what have you, and they immediately bury their head in their phones because, well, if I'm looking at my phone, then obviously I'm not going to be able to see this. Don't draw attention to me. There's somebody else suffering. Let them deal with it. And because of that behavior and several others tied into that technology, I've never owned a cell phone, and I never will. I believe it's kind of contributed to, I don't know, self-entitlement's not the word, but it just gives people an excuse to be rude and disconnected to what goes on around them. You're walking down the street, you see somebody from, I don't know, college or something like that, somebody maybe you didn't like that much. So automatically you pick up your phone and throw it right in front of your face, act like you don't see anything around you. You just use it as an excuse to disconnect from people. But I could go on about this forever. I apologize. Thank you for listening. I did this more as a therapy for me than anything else. I'm not expecting comments, thumbs up, whatever, any kind of crap like that. I just did it for my own esteem. Thank you. Good night. Try and be kind.